You ever wonder how the Amish manage to feed their families without relying on grocery stores or freezers? It's not just about growing their own food, it's about storing the right foods the right way. In this video, we're diving into 8 incredible foods, the Amish stockpile that literally never expire. These are old school, no refrigeration needed, crisis proof pantry staples, some of which you probably have sitting in your own kitchen right now. From homegrown grains to homemade vinegar, you'll see exactly how the Amish turned simple ingredients into long-lasting survival essentials. Number 1. Raw honey. In Amish homes, raw honey is more than a sweetener. It's a cornerstone of preservation and health. Every family keeps at least a few jars stored away, usually in cool, dry cellars or dark pantry shelves. What makes raw honey so valuable is its chemical makeup. Its low moisture content and high acidity create an environment where bacteria and mold simply can't survive. That's why archaeologists have discovered jars of honey in ancient tombs that are still edible thousands of years later. The Amish don't see that as a novelty. They see it as validation for a tradition that's been passed down through generations. When they harvest their honey, often from backyard hives, they avoid heating or filtering it. This keeps all the natural enzymes and antimicrobial compounds intact. Crystallization doesn't worry them. It's expected. They just place the jar in a pan of warm water and gently melt it back to its original consistency. Some homemakers take it a step further by sealing the top with a beeswax disc, adding an extra layer of protection against humidity and odors. Raw honey isn't just used for food, it's part of their home medicine cabinet. They stir it into hot tea for sore throats, mix it into poultices for minor cuts, and add it to bread dough for its shelf-life extending properties. Because Amish communities tend to live far from pharmacies and supermarkets, every ingredient needs to serve multiple roles, and honey is one of the most reliable. Its near endless shelf life, paired with its versatility, makes it irreplaceable. It's a testament to how nature, when left alone, can offer better solutions than anything modern packaging or preservatives can provide. For the Amish, keeping honey around isn't just practical, it's part of what keeps their food system independent and resilient. Number 2. Sorghum molasses. When honey becomes scarce or too precious for everyday use, Amish cooks turn to a humble but equally powerful alternative: sorghum molasses. This thick, dark syrup isn't something they buy. It's something they grow, process, and store themselves. Sorghum is a tall grass with sweet stalks that thrive in Midwest soil. Amish families often grow it on small family plots, harvesting it in late summer. The juice is pressed out of the stalks using a community-run mill and slowly boiled down into syrup. The result is a nutrient-dense molasses that's loaded with iron, calcium, potassium, and antioxidants. What makes it such a valuable pantry item is its natural stability. Like honey, its high sugar content makes it resistant to spoilage. It doesn't ferment or mold if kept sealed and dry, and it can be stored in crocks or jugs for years without refrigeration. In the kitchen, it's incredibly versatile, used for glazing meats, baking spiced gingerbread, sweetening oatmeal, or adding depth to stews and beans. Amish cooks often dip cedar spatulas into sorghum to coat cast iron before pouring in batter, giving pancakes and cornbread a caramelized edge. And during hard winters or economic downturns, sorghum becomes more than food. It becomes security. Some elders refer to it as poverty insurance because it doesn't rely on global trade, trucking routes, or outside suppliers. If a family has land and a press, they can make it themselves year after year. In a world increasingly vulnerable to disruptions in supply chains, sorghum molasses is a locally produced, shelf-stable, renewable sweetener. It's not just survival food, it's part of a slow, deliberate food system built on sustainability and mutual aid within Amish communities. Number 3. Granulated white sugar. White sugar might seem like a basic pantry item, but in Amish homes it's treated with the same care and intention as more specialized staples. Whether it's refined from sugar beets or sugarcane, granulated sugar has one key trait that makes it invaluable. It doesn't expire. As long as it's stored away from moisture, sugar remains shelf-stable for decades. The Amish often purchase it in bulk, 25 to 50-pound sacks, and then transfer it to sealed metal containers, glass jars, or 5-gallon buckets. Inside each container, they'll place a scoop of dry rice or a moisture-absorbing packet to make sure humidity doesn't cause clumping or spoilage. If the sugar hardens over time, which can happen in humid climates, it's easily restored by passing it through a manual sifter or grater. But the value of sugar goes beyond sweetness. It's a critical ingredient in food preservation. Sugar binds to water molecules, making it harder for bacteria to grow. That's why Amish preserves, raspberry jam, peach marmalade, and elderberry jelly can last for months or even years on a cool shelf without refrigeration. It's also used in the canning of fruits, the curing of some meats, and the fermentation of pickles and relishes. Sugar shows up at weddings, barn raisings, quilting bees, and Sunday dinners. It flavors pies, cakes, and cookies, but it also plays a behind-the-scenes role in keeping the pantry safe and usable. In households where everything must be functional, sugar is not just a flavoring, it's a preservation powerhouse. And since it's affordable, long-lasting, and multifunctional, it earns a permanent spot in every Amish food system. Number 4. Iodized salt. Salt has been essential to human survival for thousands of years, and the Amish keep that tradition alive with meticulous care. Unlike most kitchen staples, pure salt doesn't degrade or spoil over time. As long as it's kept dry and protected from contaminants, it lasts forever. In Amish homes, salt is usually purchased in 25-pound sacks, then stored in galvanized steel bins or wooden boxes lined with cotton cloth to wick away moisture. A terracotta tile or even a clean brick is often placed on top to prevent clumping. Some families go so far as to store their salt in attic spaces, where summer heat helps maintain its dryness. Salt is far more than a seasoning in the Amish world. It's a primary tool for food preservation. During butchering season, slabs of pork are rubbed down with salt to draw out moisture and create a barrier against bacteria, allowing them to be hung and cured without refrigeration. Pickles, sauerkraut, and fermented vegetables rely on salty brine solutions to stay fresh through long winters. Salt is also used in cheesemaking, baking, and even natural remedies. And when the sidewalks get slick in the winter or an iron skillet needs scrubbing, salt steps in as a natural cleaner and ice melter. Its multifunctionality makes it indispensable. There's also a spiritual undertone. Some Amish communities refer to salt as a symbol of preservation in their faith and culture. So while it may be one of the simplest items in the pantry, it carries incredible weight. Salt represents self-reliance, tradition, and the ability to preserve both food and values in a world where so much is temporary. Number 5. Hard red winter wheat berries. To the Amish, wheat berries are not just food. They're the foundation of daily life and long-term survival. Unlike store-bought flour that begins degrading the moment it's milled, whole wheat berries are nature's perfect packaging. The outer bran, inner germ, and oil-rich endosperm stay sealed inside until the moment they're ground. This is why wheat berries, especially the hard red winter variety, are favored in Amish households for storage. They're kept in thick food-grade buckets with oxygen absorbers and sealed tightly using gamma lids, preventing oxidation, pests, and moisture from ruining the contents. In cool basements or limestone cellars, these kernels stay fresh for over 30 years, ready to be transformed into fresh flour anytime. When baking day arrives, just enough is poured into a hand-cranked grain mill, producing warm, aromatic flour that still holds all its nutrients. Amish women catch the flour in muslin bags to reduce the dusty mess and preserve flavor. The result is nutrient-dense bread that's chewy, rustic, and far more filling than supermarket loaves. From sandwich bread to holiday noodles, everything starts with these kernels. What's more, wheat berries offer independence. A family that stores and mills its own wheat is immune to supply chain disruptions or grocery price spikes. The ability to grow, store, and mill your own grain is considered both a responsibility and a privilege. Some Amish farms even grow their own wheat, using heirloom varieties passed down for generations. And unlike store flour, there's no risk of rancid oil or freezer burn. It's all shelf-stable, handled with care, and made fresh on demand. For the Amish, these berries aren't just food. They're a form of quiet wealth, nourishment, and generational knowledge rolled into a simple grain. Number 6. Dried beans. Jacob's cattle and pinto. Dried beans play an essential role in Amish food storage because they deliver on nutrition, longevity, and flexibility. Heirloom varieties like Jacob's cattle beans, known for their marbled red and white patterns, and classic pinto beans are commonly grown in Amish gardens and harvested in bulk. Once dried, the beans are stored in burlap sacks and hung high from beams in barns or pantries, away from dampness and pests. In some communities, beans are also sealed in metal cans using soldering tools at bulk food co-ops, a method that removes oxygen and guarantees long-term preservation. Stored this way, beans remain viable for 25 to 30 years. What makes them so practical is their protein content. In households where meat is sometimes scarce, especially during the winter, or when canning supplies run low, beans become the protein workhorse. They're rehydrated overnight or pressure-soaked before cooking and show up in everything from thick stews and chili to oven-baked casseroles served after Sunday worship. Their slow-digesting carbohydrates also make them an energy-rich food that's ideal for people who work outdoors year-round. Amish women often preserve beans in soups or broths to stretch a meal, especially for large families. Beyond their nutritional profile, beans also serve as a form of backup currency. A few jars of heirloom beans can be bartered for fresh eggs, quilting fabric, or even mechanical repairs. Since they're easy to grow in a wide range of soils and climates, most Amish homesteads dedicate at least part of their garden to legumes. In every way, dried beans check all the boxes. Cheap to grow, simple to store, long-lasting, and endlessly useful. Number 7. Apple cider vinegar, the mother. Apple cider vinegar is one of those magical products the Amish use for just about everything, from pickling vegetables to cleaning kitchen tools. It all starts in the fall, right after the apple harvest. Amish farms run cider presses powered by hand, horse, or small motors to crush apples into fresh juice. That juice is left to ferment in wooden barrels or ceramic crocks, usually covered with a cloth to allow airflow while keeping insects out. Over time, natural yeasts and bacteria convert the sugars into acetic acid. Once the vinegar reaches about 5% acidity, it becomes self-preserving and can last for decades without refrigeration. What sets Amish vinegar apart is its raw, unfiltered nature. Most families keep the mother, a cloudy strand of beneficial microbes, alive in each jug, transferring a bit into the next batch to keep the fermentation going. The mother is actually valued for its believed health benefits, including probiotic support and antimicrobial properties. Amish households use apple cider vinegar in countless ways, pickling beets and cucumbers, flavoring soups, tenderizing meats, disinfecting milking pails, and even calming bee stings. A teaspoon in a glass of water is a common morning tonic for digestion or joint pain. Vinegar also makes its way into natural cleaning products, mixed with baking soda or citrus peels for scrubbing and deodorizing. Since it's made from scrap apples and costs almost nothing, it's an economical way to extend the harvest and maintain cleanliness without relying on store-bought chemicals. For the Amish, apple cider vinegar isn't just another condiment. It's a core part of their approach to living close to the land, minimizing waste and maximizing health. Number 8. Dent corn on the cob. Dent corn is far more than animal feed in the Amish world. It's a staple grain that carries both nutritional value and cultural significance. Named for the dimple or dent that forms on each kernel as it dries, this variety is left to mature fully on the stalk until the ears dry out completely and the kernels become rock hard. Once harvested, the husks are braided together into long chains and hung in corn cribs, wooden slatted structures designed to allow airflow and prevent mold. As long as the moisture level is kept below 13%, dent corn can last 20 years or longer without losing viability. Unlike sweet corn, which is eaten fresh, dent corn is ground into meal or grits right before cooking. Amish families only shell what they need each week, using hand-crank grinders to preserve the flavor and quality of the oils inside the kernel. This grain forms the base of many traditional dishes like mush, cornbread, hush puppies, and even hot breakfast cereals. Because it's so shelf-stable and filling, Dent corn plays a major role in food security. In a good harvest year, excess corn is stored for the future or traded with neighbors. Bartering one braid of corn for a jug of sorghum syrup or a crock of lard. This decentralized food system keeps families fed and connected. Some Amish even use the leftover corn husks for crafts, fuel, or animal bedding, showing how nothing goes to waste. Dent corn, with its long shelf life, multiple uses, and deep roots in tradition, is more than a pantry item. It's a quiet backbone of Amish resilience and resourcefulness.